Nobody was coming. That was the truth I had to swallow at 3 in the morning, sitting in my car outside a gas station, scrolling through Instagram stories of people my age doing things that actually mattered while I was delivering food for $16 an hour. I was 26 years old and I had become invisible. Not metaphorically invisible, actually invisible. When I walked into a room, nobody turned their head. When I spoke, people nodded politely and forgot what I said 5 seconds later. I had no skills that mattered, no stories worth telling, no reason for anyone to remember my name. And the worst part? I knew it was my fault. I had spent years waiting for someone to notice my potential like the universe owed me something, just because I showed up. But here's what nobody tells you about being useless. It's liberating. It's comfortable. It's safe. Because if you never try to be anything, you never have to face the possibility that you're not good enough. That's where I was living, in the gap between who I could have been and who I was too scared to become. Let me be clear about something right now. If you're feeling useless, if you're feeling invisible, if you're wondering why nobody takes you seriously, that feeling is your body trying to tell you the truth. You're not depressed, you're not unlucky, you're not a victim of circumstance. You're idle. You've been wasting time pretending motion is progress, scrolling instead of building, planning instead of doing, waiting for the right moment instead of creating it. I know because I lived there for years. I had a degree I wasn't using. I had ideas I never executed. I had goals that were really just fantasies I told myself to feel better about going to bed having done nothing that day. I was a professional excuse maker. I had a reason for everything. The economy was bad. My job was draining. I didn't have the right connections. I was tired. I'd start Monday. I'd start next month. I'd start when I felt ready. But here's the thing about readiness. It's a lie you tell yourself to justify staying comfortable. Nobody feels ready. You just decide to become someone different, and then you suffer through the process until the new version feels normal. I remember the exact moment I realized I was lying to myself. It was after my younger cousin, who was 22 at the time, landed a job that paid more than I made in 3 months. He called to tell my family, excited, proud, and I congratulated him while feeling this burning rage in my chest. Not at him, at myself. Because while he had spent the last 2 years learning skills, building projects, networking, failing, and trying again, I had spent that same time watching YouTube videos about productivity and telling myself I was figuring things out. I had confused learning about success with actually pursuing it. I had consumed so much content about discipline and ambition that I tricked myself into thinking I was doing something. But consumption isn't creation. Watching someone else build doesn't put anything in your hands. I was a spectator in my own life, and nobody notices spectators. That night, I made a list. Not a motivational list, not a vision board, not some fantasy bucket list. I wrote down every single way I had wasted my potential in the last 3 years, every shortcut I took, every commitment I broke to myself, every time I chose comfort over growth. It was 7 pages long. 7 pages of proof that the person I was blaming for my mediocrity was staring back at me in the mirror. And I want you to do the same thing right now, mentally, as you're listening to this. Be honest. How many times have you said you'd start working out and quit after a week? How many courses have you bought and never finished? How many times have you stayed up until 2 in the morning scrolling and then wondered why you have no energy for your goals? How many people have you watched succeed while you stayed in the same place, telling yourself you're just waiting for your opportunity? Because here's the truth you don't want to hear. Your opportunity already came. You just didn't recognize it because it looked like hard work. I started small because I had to. I couldn't build a business. I couldn't suddenly become someone impressive. I could barely get myself out of bed before 9. So I picked one thing I knew I could control: showing up. Every single day, no matter what, I was going to show up for 1 hour and do something that moved me forward. Not planning, not researching, doing. At first, it was learning basic graphic design because I wanted to build something, anything that people could see. I was terrible. My first designs looked like a middle schooler made them during lunch. I posted them anyway. Nobody cared, nobody liked them, nobody commented. I felt like an idiot. But I didn't know it yet that this was the most important phase of the entire process. This was where most people quit. They try something, it doesn't go viral, nobody claps for them, and they decide it's not worth it. They go back to being invisible and tell themselves they tried. But invisible is safe, remember? Invisible means you can't be criticized. It means you can't fail publicly. It means you never have to face the uncomfortable reality that you're not as naturally talented as you thought. I kept going because I made a deal with myself. I would do this for 6 months, no matter what, and if I still sucked after 6 months, at least I'd know I gave it a real shot. 3 months in, something shifted. Not because I suddenly got good, I was still mediocre. But I started to understand something about how people actually notice you. They don't notice you because you're talented. They notice you because you're consistent. They notice you because you show up when everyone else makes excuses. They notice you because you finish things. Most people have great ideas, most people have potential, but most people don't have the stomach to keep going when nobody's watching. That's the difference. Not talent, not luck, endurance. Around month 4, someone reached out, a small client, nothing major, but they wanted to pay me to design something, $75. I would have done it for free just to prove to myself that someone valued what I was building. That tiny win rewired something in my brain. It wasn't about the money, it was proof that invisible wasn't permanent. That if I kept building, kept improving, kept showing up, people would eventually have no choice but to notice me. So stop waiting, stop planning, stop consuming. Start building. Start today. Start messy, start scared, but start. Because 5 years from now, you're either going to be exactly where you are right now, telling yourself the same lies, or you're going to be someone completely different. Someone people can't ignore. Someone who forced the world to notice, not by being loud, but by being undeniable. The choice is yours, but choose fast. Because every day you wait is another day someone hungrier than you is building what you're still dreaming about. And when they win, when they get the life you wanted, you don't get to be mad. You had the same 24 hours, you just chose comfort over growth. And comfort is expensive. It costs you everything you could have become.